to that question already. That's why I asked the question. Remember, I never ask questions that I don't already know the answer to. Neither should you. So you never ask a question that you don't already know the answer to. That's the first rule of getting online. Because guess what? Everybody's going to challenge you online. Because everybody online is a guru. Everybody online thinks they dookie don't stink. Everybody online is the master of their own destiny. Everybody online is, it's crazy. Look at all the online beef that's going on. In other words, no matter what you say, somebody's going to object to it. So if you don't got thick skin, you can't win. Because somebody's going to say something that's going to piss you off. And the moment that you get pissed off, you're going to do what? You're going to get in your feelings. The moment that you get in your feelings, it's a wrap. What's a wrap? Online works. The universe works because the universe draws to you the vibrational equivalent of you. That's the only reason that you're not already online. I know you think that this is not important. I know you like, Doc, I didn't tune in for no lecture. I know what I want, brother. And I'm just give me the information. Homie, you already got the information. So there's a reason why you're not moving forward. There's a reason why you prefer to work for someone else than work for yourself. If I don't be the 3 things we talked about yesterday, I'm doing you a disservice. And I'm not going to gaslight you, bro. I ain't going to love bomb you. I ain't going to lie to you. I'm not going to patronize you. I'm not going to use no false sense of modesty to try to get your money. I got my own. So I'm going to tell you the truth. I ain't going to give you King James Version. This shit is not for people that are weak and jellyback and ain't got no balls. Do not pardon my French. Keep your day job, homie. If you one of these Negroes that's looking for a easy way to hurt, harm, or defraud somebody, you're going to get exposed online. One thing about what I do is everything that I say, I have a $100,000 reward that I would give any reverend, doctor, or bishop, any mother peep that think they can prove me wrong. I've been doing this shit for 25 years. I shouldn't have to say this, but I got to be real with y'all because for some reason or another, people think without thinking. Your self-worth is tied into your identity. The moment you lose your identity, that means now you thirsty. You just got thirst trapped. The way that the devil works, even though there is no devil, you're the only devil. Not you personally, but people you know. But let's just say for shiznits and giggles, there is a devil. How would he work? Well, the devil knows that the universe responds to a made-up frequency wave of vibration. Now, you may not know that, but the devil does. So if the devil knows that the universe... What's up, Sister Pam? What's going on, my sister? I ain't seen you in a couple of days. So the devil knows, Sister Pam, that the universe responds only to the most intense, emotional, intense thought. You don't get what you think about. You get what you fear. So the devil knows that he ain't got to do shit but plant thoughts in your head. Whoever the devil is. We don't know who the devil is, Brother Mitch. Brother Mitch, you ever seen the devil, Brother Mitch? I ain't seen him. They say he exists, Brother Mitch. I don't know. I do know, but I ain't saying, Brother Mitch. So what are you saying, Doc? What I'm saying that all I gotta do is say, I'm gonna send you a letter from the IRS. What you gonna do? I already know what you're gonna do. The IRS knows too. That's why they're gonna send you the letter. They know you're gonna get in your feelings. They know you're gonna jump scared because everybody's afraid of the IRS. What happens? The person, I told my sons this. Everybody that will listen, I've been telling them. The person who loves the least gains the most. Somebody should write that down. You can take that shit to the bank. So what does that mean, Sister Shirley of the West? Well, Sister Shirley, that means the Negro or the non-Negro that cares the least controls the most. That's why I don't give a beep. Now you should say to yourself, Doc, I did not tune in today, brother, for no mother lesson. I thought this show was about how to get online using artificial intelligence. No shiznits. But unfortunately, artificial intelligence, look at the word, artificial intelligence, meaning it's not real. So how do I control? Well, I control things that are not real with things that are real. So the question is, what's real? That goes back to authentic expression. So authentic intelligence is AI. That creates SI, which is spiritual intelligence. Then you're ready to get online. So you must start with your spiritual intelligence that's made up of your authentic intelligence. That is the true you. So the first thing that I do is I help you determine who you are. That's number one. But unfortunately, that's very difficult to do. You cannot put new wine. Sister Pam, you know what I'm talking about, Sister Pam. Sister Pam, we can't put new wine in the old wineskin. Unfortunately, the average Negro suffers from the psychological effects of Willie Lynch. Now, Sister Pam, Willie Lynch came to the States because the Caucasians, the Anglo-Saxons here, had a issue controlling their low vibrational Negroes. And Willie Lynch came over, the story goes, and says, hey, the way that you keep your Negroes in line is to create a prison mentally using religion, because they have been using it for years. Which is what? One thing about law enforcement, corrections. Look at the word corrections. Look at the word corrections. So I spent over 20 years working in corrections. So in the prison, look at the prison. A human cell is a prison. You are nothing but a cell. You're in a cell right now. But a prison is a prism. Look at the words prison and prism. Prism. I think that's how you spell it. Prism. So a prism is what we call color. That's what we are called colored. Stick with me, bruh. You're going to like this. So before I get online, I help people get out of prison. Or prison. Now the average Negro, out of keep it on, he don't know he in prison. So prompt engineering is a genius. Whoever came up with this shizness is they are using artificial intelligence to get your ass back on the plantation, boo-boo. This is called the principles of logic. Now the average of the Kibbilon is devoid of that. He got religion, but he don't got knowledge, aka logic. Now a prism is a solid shape that is bound on all sides. If you shine white light through a prism, P-R-I-S-M, you create a prism, P-R-I-S-O-N. The average how to keep it on is in a prism of his mind. So when I talk to people and I tell them to get online, they're like, Doc, I ain't getting online. So how come you're not online right now? For example, I could take anybody on this call right now. In 3 minutes, I can write you a 300-page book. In another 3 minutes, I can create a 12-module course. In another 3 minutes, I can create what is called a landing page and or a website or a blog. They are all the same. So if you adding up, that's 9 minutes. So in less than 10 minutes, I can create $1 million system for any Tom, Dick, and Harry based upon the knowledge. I did it for my children. I just took their names. Remember, for some of you guys in the group, I did it for you guys as well. I can take your first name and develop a multi-million-dollar business just off the letters of your first name. It is depressing to have a conversation with the average out of keeping on, which is why usually I hang out with me, myself, and I. Why? Because it's depressing to talk to the average Negro. He does not see his worth or value. He sees Jesus, he sees Buddha, he sees Muhammad. They have worth and value. He's worthless. She's worthless. They see no value in themselves. Now, I know this shit because that's where I came from. I came from Podunk, Texas, homie. I ain't making this shit up. I ain't reading it in no book. This is real life. I pulled myself up from my mother bootstraps, homie. So I need you to understand. I'm not talking about some story. I ain't talking about no movie, bruh. This is real life. Right, Sister Pam? Sister Pam know what I'm talking about. So, since I'm coming from the streets, bruh, I ain't come from no ivory tower. I wasn't born with no royal blood. I was not born with no silver spoon in my mouth, homie. I came from, we didn't have no running water, no electricity, no indoor plumbing. We had a outhouse. We used to, me and my brothers used to have to go pack water from Dozier's. It was a store behind our house. We didn't have water. We had to go to Dozier's and put water in a bucket. I don't know if y'all understand where I'm coming from. Nah, I don't think you get it, bro. So, I ain't talking about no warm and fuzzy. I live my life with no safety net. If I don't generate, if I don't operate, and if I don't direct, then I gotta go to the job. I already had a job. I can't work for nobody else. So I work for myself. So if you do not understand that when your back is up against the wall, you don't call Ghostbusters. You don't call Jesus. You don't call Buddha. You don't call Muhammad. Jesus left. He said it is finished. Jesus said, I am going to leave you with the Comforter, the Ruach and the Pneuma. Now, the average out of keeping on don't know what that means. I talk to reverend doctors and bishops. Negroes dumb as a box of rocks, on average. What does that mean? I don't do no research. I ain't mad at them. First 50 years of my life, I ain't do no research either. I just regurgitated whatever the preacher said. Now, preachers don't have products. Preachers don't have products, services, or information, Brother Mitch. They just use reward and punishment to get your money out your pocket into their coffers. Now, I ain't mad at them. Everybody got to hustle. Right, Sister West? So, I ain't knocking the preacher's hustle. Because if you don't tithe, you're cursed with a curse. Right? That's what the preacher says. Now, I used to be one of those too. That's why I know what the beep I'm talking about, Brother Mitch. I didn't read that in the book either. So, I recommend that you start by doing some research. Why? When you get online, what is online? Do you know that the artificial intelligence, the ether, it's in the air? What is the cloud? People save their information in the cloud. What is that? Do you know the Bible talks about that in Ephesians? It talks about the prince. It says the prince is over the power of the air, Sister Sandra. So the prince ain't got no power. The power is in the air, according to Ephesians chapter 2. At least in the Bible that I read. I got a different Bible than most people got, Sister Sandra. So my Bible reads a little different than the average Negro. So in my Bible it says that the prince ain't got no power. The Bible says that the devil goes around like a roaring lion. Like he's not a roaring lion, he acts like one. So he can get you, what? Scarred up. He ain't got no power. You got the power. So he got to get the power from you. So what the devil did was he exchanged your true identity. The Bible says, let this mind be in you that was also in Christ Jesus, who being in the form of God. So you're in the form of God too. The Bible says that in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God. The Word was God. So the Word became flesh and it started to walk around. So why is your DNA made up of letters? Those letters, when you put them together, they created words. So you are the Word made flesh. Now you probably don't know that. That's why we have something called fear. Fear is false evidence of being real. Now, again, you should go back to what I said at the beginning of the show, which was, I thought today's message was how to get online in 24 hours or less. Man, that's the easy part. So, what's the hard part? The hard part is right now, you have an underlying belief system that makes you feel less than. That means I can gaslight you. What does that mean? That means I can send you a letter. That means I can call you and tell you, I can threaten you. Because I know you care about something. It could be your mama, your daddy, your little Sheerans. Me and my family, we call each other Sheeran. Now, that's a country word. Y'all got to be from Florida to understand that. Y'all know nothing about that. Sister West, you don't know nothing about that down there in Mississippi. I mean, you're not in Mississippi. Sister Cheryl, where you at? You're in Michigan. So what are you saying, Doc? Well, what is fear? Why is it needed? Why are any control systems needed in a world where they got people who don't know how to control themselves? So the Bible says that the law is for the lawless. Right? So what does that mean? That means that there are certain rules that are needed because some people need them. So as long as you need those rules, they apply to you. So the point that I'm making, brothers and sisters, using humor, because I got to make this humorous because it's really sad. What's up, Brother Andoni? It's really sad. But the garden is sad, Brother Garden, because melanated people, just our melanin is worth millions. Just the melanin alone. And yet, everywhere I go, melanated people in every part of the world are oppressed. That's not by accident, Brother Garden. The dominant culture has set this harmonious arrangement up to keep you in a low vibrational state. That is why before you write your book, develop your course, and set up your website, you got to deal with your current habit pattern. If you do not, you're going to sabotage yourself. You're going to come up with all of these excuses. Remember, Brother Mitch, I've been doing this for 25 years, brother. Brother Andoni, I've been doing this for a long time, brother. The only reason I'm here today, I should have been here. I should have been in this house. I should have been driving my Corvette. I should have been having money in my pocket 40 years ago. So, Brother Gordon, why did it take me so long, Brother Gordon? Because I have to make this comical, Brother Gordon, to keep from crying, to keep from getting depressed. I think about how I destroyed my first marriage. I can think about how my daughter Shamora is not here because her father couldn't get his shit together. I think about, Brother Gordon, how I was not mentally. Now I could say, like we talked about yesterday, I could blame. Remember blame shifting? I could fight for my past, Brother Gordon. I could be sitting here right now and I could blame Sister X, who used to force us to fast when we were little children. I could blame my mom. I could blame my biological father. I could blame my grandmother. I could blame a lot of people, Brother Gordon. Most of them are not here anymore. They already gone. How much money is that going to put in my pocket, Brother Gordon? You see, the average black person, it's not about race. I'm black. That's why I talk about black people. If I was white, I'd talk about white folks. But I ain't white. I know black culture because I happen to be black. I'm a black man in America. Y'all don't know nothing about that unless you are a black man in America. Now, if you're a black man in America, you know what I'm talking about, bruh. Take your ass to Walmart. See what happens. They're going to follow you around. Get in your car after 2 o'clock in the morning, drive around anywhere, black man. Your ass going to get pulled over for driving while black. It is what it is. So I got a choice, Brother Garden. I could complain about it, but what can I do about it? I can't change the color of my skin. So, Brother Gordon, Brother Mitch, Brother Rich, it's imperative before you get online, you deal with that negative habit pattern. You can't do shit about it. So why are you fighting for your rights? Is it wrong for me to be pulled over for no reason other than the color of my skin? Yes, it is. Is it wrong for me to go into a high-end jewelry store? I can go to Jared's and walk around and they'll follow me around. Sir, can I help you? Nah, I'm good. They'll come back, sir. And then they just keep sending people. I know they're watching me, Brother Gordon. I can feel their eyes on my back of my neck. So what can I do about it? Well, I take my black ass home. I can go to another store and shop. But what can I do about it as a black man, Brother Gordon, in America? Answer, nothing. I know that they're using weaponized weather. I know that there's HARP technology. I know, Brother Gordon, I've done my research. When I talk to the average out of Keelan, and they get online or they start a business and they fail, like I did, Brother Gordon, 23 times. Brother Gordon, 23. Brother Mitch, 23 times, Sister Sandra, I started businesses and they failed miserably. So how come this business worked? I got rid of religion. Now, I'm not talking about religion as you know. I'm talking about a mental disposition that makes you rely. Look at the word religion. It's the word rely on. RELYON. So you are relying upon a person, a place, or a thing other than yourself. That's the number one cause of failure. See, the number one cause of failure is a lack of accountability. Meaning, when I was a young man, I blamed. It was somebody else's fault. So, Sister Sandra, I had an excuse. And so that allowed me to sit back and not take action. So the reason why I'm spending all of this time telling you, because it takes me about 3 minutes to write your book. It takes me another 3 minutes to set up a step-by-step 12-module system. 3 minutes. With about how many pages you want it. 3 minutes. It takes me another 3 minutes to put that on a landing page, and I can get attention, provide value, and offer support. Those are the only three things that you need to be a millionaire. You already got the knowledge, because your knowledge is your experiences. Is there anybody on this call that has no life experience? Anybody? I am all ears. I got some big ass ears. Y'all see my ears? They big, ain't they? So I'm all ears, Brother Gordon. Is there anybody on this call? Sister Pam, do you have any life experiences, Sister Pam? Now, I don't need them, but they just help to add something to you, which is called confidence. See, before you go online, you got to have confidence. I'm not talking about this fake Amway confidence. I'm not talking about this high school cheerleader confidence. I'm not talking about this religious confidence where you get amped up and you believe in Jesus, but you don't believe in yourself. When your back is up against the wall, when you are in the valley, when you are in the lion's den, when your back is up against the wall and you have to use your own creativity and your own imagination to come up with a solution to generate $1,000, $20,000, $100,000, what are you going to do? You're only limited by your own creation. And your own creation, your own creativity, I should say. Your own creativity, honestly, is only limited by your belief system. You bring about what you believe. But the belief system is not conscious. It is unconscious. So how do you know what you don't know? It's proof, it's evidence in your environment. Let me say that again. Before I write your book for you, 3 minutes. Before I create your course for you, it takes me another 3 minutes. And before I'll build your website with pictures and landing pages, payment gateway and everything, which takes another 3 minutes. It takes me 10 minutes to build a multi-million-dollar system. 10. Thanks to, now this used to take me a lot longer. But before I do all of that, it's not going to do you any good. Because guess what's going to happen? You're going to sabotage it. Just like I did. Why? People don't buy books. People don't buy modules, PDF documents. People don't buy clever marketing campaigns. People buy people. You have to build trust. Trust is a feeling that goes beyond the frontal lobe. And it goes directly into the unconscious brain. That simply means that the reason that I connect and relate to Brother Gordon, the reason that I can connect and relate to Sister Pam, the reason that I can connect and relate to Sister Sandra, is that we are vibrational brothers and sisters. The reason that I can connect and relate to Brother Mitch, the reason that I can connect and relate to Sister Cheryl West, the reason that I can connect and relate to everybody on this call, the reason that you are here today, right now, is because the vibration, the frequency, the verbs that are coming out, verbs. This is my verb branium. That's what the movie Black Panther was trying to tell all of you black folks. Wakanda was the only country that had vibranium. Verbs vibrate nerves. The more melanin you have, the more vibration you have. You can't be broke. So the only way that you can be broke is I got to get you to buy a system other than yours. It's called religion. The only way I can get you to have feelings that are other than I wish a Negro would. The only way that you can develop a feeling other than love, joy, peace, gentleness, meekness, self-control, the only way I can get you to develop a feeling of fear is that I got to get you to draw near so I can give you fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Because if you believe it, it is done unto you as you believe. If you believe you got to work hard, you have to work hard. Not me. See, if you believe, what do you believe? Look at your environment. Your environment right now is the result of your belief system. So the question is, how do you change your belief system? You can't change your belief system. Only thing that you can do is what I did, is you can monetize your belief system. What does that mean? That means that you take your current habit pattern, you acknowledge it, and you monetize it. That's it. So you take what the devil meant for evil, you turn around and you use it for good. Bad things happen to good people. That's awesome. Remember my mantra. All things work together for my good. Please repeat that with me. All things work together. All. Anybody know the definition of all? You might want to look it up. I don't want to insult nobody's intelligence. All things work together for my good. So when I lose, I win. When I win, I win. So Brother Gordon, you can't gaslight me, bro. Doesn't work. You can't love bomb me, because I love by myself. So I love me more than you do. So if you say, Doc, I heard your show, bro. I know you got something that you're promoting on July the 1st. Cost is $2.99. I know you have your big ticket item where we come into partnership, a lifetime partnership. Lifetime. Where I guarantee your success. I ain't gonna let you fail, bro. So I'm gonna take it out of your hands. I'm gonna build a car and drive it for you. Done for you, sister. $20,000 once in a lifetime. I have $15,000 system, $10,000. I got different systems. Depending, you get in where you fit in. But I think I'm gonna pass, brother. So then the question happens, Sister Sandra, is how do I feel? Does my love for you depend upon what you do for me? Answer, it does not. See, unconditional love means unconditional. Could you imagine if we lived in a world where everybody had that disposition? What disposition? If you pay me, woo-wee, that's awesome. Hallelujah. If you don't pay me, woo-wee, that's awesome. Won't he do it? So you can't gaslight me. In other words, I have no dog in the fight. See, the universe responds to etheric force. Now, God is ether. We know the four elements: earth, wind, fire, water. You know that. God is not that. God is ether. So God is the substance behind what we use and what we see. So God is not numbers and letters. God is the power behind numbers and letters. We use numbers and letters. God provides the source. He's the source of power for everything that we know. So these numbers and letters are tools that we use, but they are all animated by source, or what we call God. The Bible says in the book of Revelations that God has a name written on his thigh that no man can pronounce. So why we got these names? That's another study for another time. The point that I'm trying to make, the point that I am making, is that you got to elevate your consciousness and get out of duality. Duality means up and down. Duality means happy, sad. Now remember, you can live in duality or you can live in singularity. It's up to you. I choose to live in a place where I choose to be happy. It's a choice. I live in a place where I choose to be wealthy. It's a choice. I live in a place where I choose to be healthy, wise, and in a great relationship with myself, with my source, and with others. It's a choice. It means it ain't got shit to do with you. So that means that I don't really care what you do, but I like you. I'm hoping that you see, by expanding your consciousness, that you can be and have anything that you want based upon your God-given design. But for some people, they can't see that. I love you anyway, but I know I can't vibrate with you because you are living life on a lower level law. See, there's levels to this game. People tell me all the time that, man, it's just like in the military. The demonic realm is just like the military realm. Do you know that the military rank structure and the demonic realm are exactly the same? What does that mean? Well, you got privates, you got corporals, you got sergeants, you got staff sergeants, you got master gunners and gunnery sergeants. Then you got lieutenants, you got first lieutenant, second lieutenant. Then you got captains, you got majors, you got brigadier generals, you got lieutenant generals. So those are rank structures. So a higher level law overrides lower level laws. Does that make that lower level law false? No, it does not. I used to be a cop. I got a brother's cop. Now, I was a municipal cop. I was not a state cop. Nor was I a federal cop. Nor was I a Interpol or international cop. So on a municipal level, there's a county where the city is inside of a county, but the county is inside of a state, but the state is inside of a nation. Different. So do you mean to tell me, even inside of the municipal, I live right now in a community that has a HOA, or homeowners association. Guess what? In this homeowners association, we got certain things that are called deed restrictions. What are those? Those are laws. I signed an agreement when I moved into this community. When I purchased this property, I agreed to live and abide by those deed restrictions. You know what one of those deed restrictions are? As I found out, you cannot plant fruit trees in your front yard. Let me say it again. So the Pam, I live in a neighborhood. They say they don't want, animals. Fruit draws insects and animals to come and eat the fruit when it falls on the ground. So if I plant a fruit tree in my front yard, the deed restriction officer can ride by and write me a citation. And if I choose not to abide by that, is that a city law? No, it is not. Is that a county law? No, it is not. Is that a federal law? No, it is not. But it's a deed. Just this community, I can move to another community, Brother Mitchell, and I can plant as many fruit trees in my front yard as I want to. But as long as I'm in this community, Sister Cheryl, I agreed when I signed that document. So you will have, right now you're living your life, and you agreed to some laws. They're called beliefs. And unfortunately, just like me, you signed a document, you didn't read it. When you signed that document, bruh, you ain't read that small print. How do I know? I ain't read it either. What document did you sign, Brother Gordon? It's called religion. So when you accepted Buddha or Allah or, Hare Krishna or Satan, whatever deity that you got, you agreed to those laws. Now you are bound by them. Unless you cancel that contract. So my knees ain't touched the ground to no mother beep. In other words, I ain't pledged allegiance. I did, but I rescinded my contract. Now, I have a contract with the Most High, not the Most Low. Ooh-wee, that's another story for another time, right, Brother Gordon? Brother Gordon know what I'm talking about. So now I'm in a relationship with the highest law of the land. It's called scalar energy. To my knowledge, only my boy Colonel Tom Bearden, y'all should Google that name, Tom Bearden. He wrote a book called The Vacuum. Anybody want to mess up your brain? Read that book. You'll never be the same. Tom Bearden wrote a book called The Vacuum. He pulls unlimited energy out of thin air. What? So that's source. When you get to that level, bam, then you're ready to start an online business. Why? Because the business is online. So where is my domain name hosted at? Ooh. So I got Cosmic Real Estate. So I'm buying real estate, if you want to use that term. When you set up an online business, where is it at? So I got over 25 different websites. Where are they hosted at, Sister Shirley of the West? So if you want to go to my website, 2020 Total Awareness, where's it at, Brother Mitch? It exists, but I'm not logged into it. If you go to my website, mt33businessschool.com. If you go to my other website, theocentricnutrition.com, where they at? So each website is on a specific bandwidth. It's called an IP address, just like a radio station. You are a specific bandwidth right now. You are a specific band width. There's a certain amount of width. Now, what is width? I'm not talking about W-I-T-H. I'm talking about W-I-D-T-H. Wow. Notice the hooked on phonics worked for me. Do you notice that the word
width,
what's that word again?
width,
Who?
width,
It has to do with a specific amount of wideness or breadth. Woo-wee. Sister Cheryl of the West, I don't know if they're ready, Sister Cheryl. Sister Cheryl, are you ready? Sister Pam, you ready? A certain amount of breadth. Breath. But it got the TH. So the Bible talks about the Holy Spirit as the breath. Ooh, Dr. Span. Dr. Span, you ready, Dr. Span? Y'all ready? Now remember, we still talking about getting online, right? But see, I'm a metaphysician. I deal with the science behind what all these Negroes be talking about. So while y'all talking about, not you personally, of course, but the average Negro talking about surface level shiznets. That's great. That's 3D. I'm on 9G, homie. What does that mean? That's why I know your business can work. Because if I build your business, my reputation is on the line. I got 100 grand to say that I guarantee if you build it, they will come. So Sister Sandra, what does that mean? That just simply means that I'm looking for people who want to sign a lifetime partnership. It's like a marriage. Who want to get married? I'm looking for marriage partners. A business marriage where we are married for life. What does that mean? That just simply means that now you have unlimited access to me, my products, my services, my information, like I tell you guys on every show. Because now we have something called authentic intelligence, and we're going to marry spiritual intelligence, and we're going to use artificial intelligence. We're going to take over the world. How are we going to do it? Well, you got something that I don't have. What you got? I was talking to my younger brother Gary. My younger brother Gary been in law, he's a cop. He's been in law enforcement for life. 30 plus years, basically. I wonder how much knowledge he's accumulated in 30 years. 30! I've been in law enforcement. That's a lot of years, brother bitch. So, what if the devil tells my brother, man, you ain't got no worth and no value? Well, his reply should be, homie, same thing Jesus did. Get thee behind me, Satan, for it is written, you should not tempt the Lord thy God. But my brother Gary has something that's more powerful than his 30 years of law enforcement experience. What does he have, Brother Mitch, that's more powerful than his life experiences? Same thing that my boy, Brother Gordon, got. Same thing that Sister Pam has. Same thing. Hey, what's up, Brother Mike? Brother Michael Fields. Same thing that Brother Michael has. Everybody on this call, you are born with. My brother Gary has a letter G, a letter E, a letter R, and a letter Y in his name. Right? The letter G, it ain't what you think. I know. So, even though my brother Gary can create a online business and make millions of dollars in law enforcement, helping other people be safe in their persons and their security, teach people how to deal. If you pull over by a cop, especially as a black person, black man or woman, what should you do? There are certain do's and don'ts. You want to put your hands on the steering wheel, you want to make sure that you get all your stuff out of the glove box before he walks up to the window. You don't want to reach for nothing. Even though he tell you, yeah, go ahead and reach for and get it. You say, no, sir, I'm good. You can come around here and get it. You should tell him, man, can I search your vehicle? Hell no, bro. You should ask him, Why you stop me? You can't tell you, man, get your sergeant over here, bro. You should ask him, am I being arrested or am I detained? Am I free to go? Those are things that you should not consent to nothing. You shouldn't even talk to her. Because anything you say, let me say it again, anything you say, let me say it again, anything that you say can and will be used against you. I don't care if you say, someone start talking about the weather. The cop will go to court and say, yeah, he tried to distract me by talking about the weather. Say, man, I wasn't trying to distract you. Yes, you was. Your Honor, he tried to distract me, so he was talking about the weather because he was hiding blank, blank, blank. So when a cop pull you over, you don't say shit. You shut the beep up. They ask for license and registration. Give me your license and registration. So what's the point? The point is, all that's great because that's based upon his life experiences. But he has something that's even more powerful than his life experiences. He has spiritual knowledge, and he has something called authentic attributes and characteristics that's given to him by God. That's why I come in. You see, when I go to ChatGPT, I don't use the prompts that everybody else uses. Everybody else, they go to ChatGPT and artificial intelligence, and they got all these, this is called prompt engineering. I'm going to be teaching a class on July the 1st to teach you how to use authentic spiritual prompt engineering. What does that mean? Well, if you go into your authentic report, I call it a dignity report, and you see that in order to create intelligence, let me read. In order to create intelligence, I'm reading from my book. Can y'all see that? In order to create intelligence, a consistent pattern of symbols must be employed. If language was not taught to a child, he or she would never develop intelligence, which illustrates how important language is for the basic principles or tools for the development of the mind. So without this thing that we call land, goo, age, we are in deep kimchi. Why? That structures the mind. So I know I need no reverend. Brother Mitch, I don't need no reverend. I need no doctor, Brother Michael. I need no bishop, Sister Pam, to tell me. Because I got something called attributes and characteristics. So the letter G has a certain frequency. Let me say that again. The letter G has a certain frequency. Let me say that one more time for the people in the back. This is the foundation of life. So I know my brother Gary has the letter G in his name. Well, I know that because that's on his birth certificate. So the letter G says G is the numerical equivalent of the number 7. So that lets me know the number 7 means what? Intellectual, analytical capacity. That's why he's a good cop. He's very intellectual and he's very analytical. Now, the letter G also represents mystical. Remember, the Freemasons, they have a symbol that has what? The letter G in it. What does G mean? God starts with the letter G. So the letter G says a person with the letter G represents mysticism, spirituality, and religious experiences. A person with the letter G in their name is very imaginative, creative, and very helpful. All of these are attributes and characteristics that my brother has. So I could take those 3 attributes. I can go to ChatGPT right now and type in, you guys know, well, now I say that for the seminar. I have developed a specific prompt. And I can type in ChatGPT, write me a 300-page book on using the word imaginative, creative, and helpful. Why would I tell the computer to write a 300-page book? Well, not even 300 pages. Let's just say 100. Because remember, nobody reads books anymore. So if you make it too long, it's going to be too boring. And people are going to get bored because you got to hold people's attention. So scratch the 300 pages. Let's say, under 100 pages. Because those are the attributes and characteristics that's inside of my brother's DNA. So my brother was born with a disposition that makes him very imaginative. That means he got a very creative imagination. And he's very creative. That means he can think outside of the box. And he likes to help people. That's why he's in law enforcement. Because he's supposed to provide protect and serve. So that's pretty much the only job he's ever had other than the military. Because both of those jobs require him to do what? Be of service. In all of his relationships, he's attracted to people that he can be of service. Why? He may not know it, but I know it. Because I've been doing this for a long time. So I can type in and I can build a business around 3 words. The word imagination, the word creative, and the word helpful. That's just 1 letter. What about the rest of his name? What if, now that means I can create a business for the letter G, the business for the letter E, a business around the letter R, he has 2 R's in his name, and then the business around the letter Y. I could. And then we post it, we can write books, we can put up modules, and we can put up websites. And he make a lot of money. Or I could take his full name. So my brother's full name, it says, the letter Gary means, because I'm looking at his Dear Canary report, says you are a very introspective, prophetic, philosophical, soul-searching individual. But you are also very analytical, critical, and opinionated. You think very deeply and you think very clearly. And you have an air of mystery, and you can be very solitary and secretive. Now, y'all don't know my brother Gary. I know my brother Gary. In our family, I called my brother Gary the Lone Ranger. Why do I call Gary the Lone Ranger? Gary pops up about once every 30 days. Right, bro? Now, my brother Gary, he may not even know why he does that. Sometimes I wonder, I don't even know if he knows. Now, the reason why, I've had this conversation with some of my other siblings. They say, man, I'm kind of worried about Gary. I ain't worried about Gary. Why? Well, I know Gary. I did his Dear Canary report. So I know that Gary is being himself. But what if Gary don't know Gary? I know Gary. But what if Gary don't know Gary? He can't go on unless he knows himself. Know self-thesu. It means to know thyself. So my job is to make sure that everybody on this call builds a business that is authentic, that is spiritual. So that way you can control the intelligence. So that means that the people that are attracted to him, they are going to be very solitary people. They're going to be very secretive people because he is solitary and he's secretive. And then it says you live a very eventful and exciting life. You are very versatile and you have the ability to learn easily. You're always looking for a chance to do your own thing and to be your own person and to have things done your own way. You like nice things. All of this, so I would take that paragraph and I would put that into the computer and it would pump out. How many books we want to write? We could write 1 book or we could write 100 books. Unlimited. It's up to Gary. So if I was building a $1 million system for my brother Gary, I would take his first name. What if I put his first, middle, and last name? You don't have a middle name, but what if he did? So all I'm simply expressing to everybody today, in conclusion, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Just like it says in the Bible. I'm so excited for you because I don't know if you know you. There is no greater subject on the world. So, although law enforcement is great, I would rather that my brother Gary talk about Gary instead of law enforcement. Now, he could talk about both because he has an authentic, God-given attributes and characteristics, and he has life experiences. He could marry those two together. But he has to be authentic first. Because if he attaches his identity to law enforcement, and something happens where he's not able to continue to operate in law enforcement, what happens? The same thing is going to happen to him. It happened to me when I got out of the military. When I got out of the military, I was lost. I was in depression. I was contemplating suicide because they took away my identity. The most dangerous thing that you can ever do in your life is to attach your identity to some man-made opportunity. You see, Sister Shirley of the West, the reason why what I'm talking about is so important. When I was a young, dumb, stupid preacher, and they, whoever they are, decided to remove my credentials. My identity, Sister Pam, wasn't tied into my title. I didn't know that I didn't need a man-made title. God already gave me one. See, can't no mother beeb take my God-given. See, God's gifts are without recompense. That means that no nook can take it, because no nook gave it. So they can take my man-made title, but can't nobody take my God-given title. That shit's in my DNA. So I exude creative, imaginative communication skills, because I'm a 3, mother beat 3, 6. That's why I go by the title given to me by God, not man. So I'm going to recommend to my brother that he walk in his God-given anointing. Same thing I've been telling everybody else on this call. Sure, take your life experiences, monetize them, get paid, bruh. But at the end of the day, my brother, at the end of the day, my sister, make sure that you align your mind with your God-given design. That's the only way that you're guaranteed to shine. If man give you a title, he can take it. But when you walk in your God-given anointing, and your God-given power, and your God-given destiny, can't no mother take your power, bruh, because they ain't give it to you. You see, I'm on a level where there's no devil. I don't fight no devils and demons. All the shit that everybody else do, I don't do that, man. Because I operate on a level where there's no devil. I recommend that everybody get on this level. That's why I do the class. That's why I got the life management system. That's why I have the Kingdom Millionaires Training Center. That's why I've been doing this for 20 plus years, Sister Sandra. I'm just getting warmed up. So my brothers and my sisters, you want to join me on July the 1st? Again, the cost is $199 if you make the payment today or tomorrow. After that, it's $299. You also want to make sure that you take advantage, if you're not already a member of the Kingdom Millionaires Training Center. If you don't have your Deaconry report, bruh, sis, where you been? Deaconry reports normally sell for $4.99. They don't sell only for $1.99. 750 pages. This is your true. This is where you start. This is the bread and butter, because this is your authenticity report. There's 3 types of knowledge, brothers and sisters. You got to start with who God says you are. That's your true, authentic self. Number 1. Start with your true, authentic self. Once you align your mind with your true, authentic self, then you go ready for number 2. Number 2 is you take the attributes and characteristics that God gave you, and you make a ruling disposition. As I was using my brother Gary for an example, he would take his secretive, solitary, intuitive, creative, imaginative, and we keep going with the attributes and characteristics. God put that in his DNA. That's how his brain works. And he's born in the month of October, which means the month of emotional balance. So he's going to use those attributes and characteristics to assist himself and other people with creating emotional balance, so that way they can be a good, in his case, cop. In your case, it could be a chef. So you take your attributes and characteristics to help yourself and others establish a life worth living. That is what I do for a living. And that's what I recommend you do. Because that is the only way that you're guaranteed to shine. Because you are operating according to your God-given design. All right, brothers and sisters, y'all already know. I love you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. For more information, you already know what to do. Just email me. drwillrogers33@gmail.com.